Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good Friday morning it is. Wow. I cannot believe that this is the weekend. The weekend is here. I feel like I was just here a day or two ago, but I suppose that is what is happening to life. Life is slipping, time is running away from us, and we are not aware of it because we are so caught up in doing other things and not living and enjoying our life. But let me tell you, I'm living my best life ever. Life is good. And that is my motto. Life is good. You're in tune to FM 98.9. That's on your radio dial. It's about the time when we bring you your views. Your views is a program that is aired on Win FM every morning, every Friday morning at 10 o'clock. Your host is normally me, Sandra Quilly Atherton. And we talk about what you want to hear, things that affect us, not just here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but around the world, because anything that happens in America or anywhere around the world, it definitely would affect us in the long run. And what we are experiencing now, what we are seeing now, where the world is right now, we would be grossly affected. I recognize that the count for COVID starting to rise. I see people displaying certain symptoms. I have a friend. I want to say good morning to him. I hope he feels a little better. I don't know if it's COVID, but he has symptoms of body aches and headache, and there's some nausea and vomiting that comes with it. There's so many different symptoms because there's so many different variants that are out there and different viruses that are out there, and we are exposed. And so therefore we ask that you continue to adhere to protocols, that is wearing your mask, social distancing. We have seen over the weekend, you have had the march, you have had the music, and people, I can see here in St. Kitts, people have been deprived, I must say, because they look malnourished when it comes around entertainment. They're not getting enough, and so now that they're getting the chance to while out, well, trust me, they're whiling out, and people have to start paying more attention to the fact that COVID is a threat. We look at the situation in China. I don't know how many people are in tune what's happening there in Shanghai. I mean, they're actually building a wall so that people can stay there because this new variant, is saying whether or not you have natural immunity, meaning that you were exposed to the virus before, or you're vaccinated, you still can contract, and you still can be affected with this strain of COVID-19. We're not taking life seriously. We can see that. But at the end of the day, it is a reality, and we have to start looking at things in a different light. It's Mother's Day weekend. So those of you who are fortunate enough to have mothers around, I wish that every day is Mother's Day. We have to do everything every day. Even on our day that is designated to us, we still have to do things. So, but those of you who are fortunate to have your mothers are to be cherished, and I do hope that you would express your love in a different way. I mean, you do that on a daily basis, but sometimes you have to just go that extra mile to show mommy or mama or ma or mother how much you appreciate her. And trust me, we do appreciate the little things that our kids would do, just to recognize that, they appreciate the hardships that we would have gone in, the sacrifices that we would have made to raise our children. It is really tough being a mother, but it's also one of the greatest joy. So it pays off for me. I don't mind. I shouldn't say I don't mind. I do mind sometimes the struggles. Sometimes it can become overwhelming, but at the end of the day, it is always worth it. And that's what it is. I mean, there's some people who are not privileged enough to have kids of their own, but they would have raised them and can love them the same way as if they carried them. And these people that you have to, I want to shout out and say Happy Mother's Day to you when it comes on Sunday. But like I said, it's Happy Mother's Weekend. And for those of you who can care for children that are not yours and care for them like a mother, kudos to you. You're doing even a better job. And so that's what motherhood is all about. And those who would have had birthdays for this week, I want to congratulate you. It's another milestone. You have taken a step again. You're not getting older, you're getting wiser. And I think that's what I always tell people. For me, age is wisdom. And I can attest to that. I'm much wiser than I was, 20 years ago, the things that I did then, and I look back and wonder, but again, you can't blame yourself. It's the information that you had, the knowledge that you had, and so therefore we make those kind of decisions. And I always tell people, I don't have regrets in life, and I always tell people that I don't have regrets. Whatever I would have done in my life, I did it at that time. Nobody understands the circumstances why you would have done it, and the information that you would have had at that time, and that is a decision that you would have made. Hindsight is 2020, but during the spur of the moment, and when the time would have happened when you did what you did, it was based on information. So you shouldn't have regrets. It should be a learning experience, and you know that you would not do that again. And so that's what life is. Life is about having experiences and learning from them. We recognize what's happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're in the silly season again. And I suppose that happens because silly people would have put us there. And so that is one of the reasons why we are back there. This morning I have with me none other than Facebook bully again. It's week, yeah. I said to you already that he's a young man. And I wish politicians were like ordinary people like Weeks. You know, he understands what poor people, and I don't understand why we always call them poor people, because that's what it's referred to. It's for me, it's that stigma and that division and that status quo that people put on of poor people and rich people. For me, in life, and I'm going to say this, when you have excess, it doesn't mean it's a necessity. The only thing that is necessary for living is food, clothing, shelter, and the air that you breathe. We want a lot of things, and because we want so much is why we wind up in situations, because greed becomes a problem, and I suppose power becomes a greater issue, and then at the end of the day, we find ourselves in situations that, we regret later on. I mean, Solomon was one of the wisest men who graced this earth, and he said, if you believe in the Bible, he says, all of this is vanity, meaning wealth and power. It's just vanity and a vexation to the spirit. And later on in life, when we lie down and recognize that all the power that we would have had and all the money that we have, it still cannot stop what the inevitable, and that is we are all going to die. We're here for a moment in time, and it doesn't matter how much you would have had, the life that you would have lived. When the pain and suffering comes, the life that you would have lived would not alleviate any of the pain and the suffering. When your conscience is not comfortable, it's hell for me. That is torment and torture. And so when you're living your life, all the wealth that you have, all the accumulation of wealth, all of the wrong things that you would have done to accumulate all of this wealth, there is going to come a time when you're going to lie down, and like Solomon, you're going to say, all of it was vanity and a vexation to the spirit, because then your spirit would not be able to rest in peace. Weeks, good morning. That was my sermon. I'm so blessed. I read the Bible. It inspires me. Sometimes in some areas that I read and I would apply it to my life, and others, it's just like everything else. Welcome to Your Views. We are going to talk about what's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis right now, politics. You are in areas and you have been exposed more than I have been, because you walk around, you listen to the cry of the people, you understand the pain and suffering that some of our people are going through, who have been through, and like you have seen some relief. You would have been expressed, that would have expressed to you that people are relieved and they're quite comfortable where they're at. But the unfortunate thing about it is that we have to go back to the polls. What is the feeling about going back to the polls amongst the ordinary man out there?
Well, first of all, let me say good morning to you, Sanjo, and your listening audience. And happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there on Sunday when it comes, and my mother in particular. Question, the feeling. I mean, I think people still asking a question as to why, and then after you get a feeling, or they get a sense as to why, then the other question is, who put us there? Mm-hmm. And it's starting to resonate with some, because some persons feel like it's all about the status quo. Mm-hmm. Some persons feel like now that we have the ordinary, and as we use the term poor people benefiting, is like, some persons want to chop off their hand and, like they don't want ordinary people to be close to them when it comes to being on this social ladder. They might be up here and the gap is closing, and ordinary people feel like, okay, now the gap closing, I could go into the same VIP like some, I could go into use the same airline charter like some, and now you had that gap narrowing. Then maybe some persons just said to themselves, well, hey, me and Sanji is supposed to be on the same level, so we need to widen our gap some more.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we in this situation where persons feel like, hey, in order for you to widen the gap, we need the Ministry of Finance. We need to go, we handle on the money. And, persons start to be fearful as to what can happen to all the social safety nets that, has been implemented, by the leadership of the country. What can happen to those safety net? And, it's starting to be a wake-up call for some. And maybe that's why you see people, gravitating to and gravitating from others, because, everybody need to protect theirs.
It is a sad situation when you look at where it's at, and I like the way that you would have put it. I mean, poor people, the ordinary man is benefiting now.
Benefiting big time.
I had a discussion with a girl 2 weeks ago, and she was talking about the fact, the way how she appreciates the fact that she's privileged now to be able to own a piece of the rock, and she can boast now she has land.
Yes.
And she now understands, because a lot of ordinary people do not understand what it is to own land.
Yes.
Land, when you have land, you have basically power.
Yes.
It's an asset that can get you. It's a stepping stone into directions that you want to. And I think because of the fact that people did not have that understanding, now people are waking up to the fact and having a better understanding of what it is to have, to own land.
Yes.
But before that, nobody wanted land. It was not the ordinary man who wanted the land. But now that the ordinary man can appreciate the value of lands, it is a difference. And people are now appreciating the fact that they can be like the people who are in high, in the hierarchy. And it is sad when you're going to, you're able to differentiate or put people in different class. That poses for me a problem in small St. Kitts. But we have to be grateful here in St. Kitts and Nevis. When we make comparison to where we are at and to where other people are, we should be grateful. I know people are going to talk about you, Weeks, and let's define who you are. And I don't think you have a problem. Because people think that you're singing for your supper, like me. Mm-hmm. I wish I could have sang. I mean, definitely. But people think that you're singing for your supper because you're benefiting big time from the PLP construct. Uh-huh. So people think that you're only talking because you're benefiting. Yeah. Where do you work?
I work ministry, entrepreneurship, entertainment, and talent development.
What is your position there?
Field officer.
Field officer.
Yeah, field officer.
Ordinary man.
Ordinary man.
Doing ordinary things.
But me ain't even a job. Is really and truly a contract, a 2-year contract.
So you don't have a permanent job?
No, me have a permanent job. No, me employed permanently with the government. I trying, but
You see, and people would think, and that is why I asked, because people would think that you're getting, you're fully employed, you're getting a big salary from government. Yeah. People not realizing that you don't even work.
Yeah, well, I mean, persons who want to push the narrative that, he getting big job and big money. I mean, they're not in so really and truly, but that's just a distraction. Yeah, it's a distraction from and a means to discredit, the individual, because I mean, I just tell people all the time, I mean, everything I had leading up to this point, I started since in 2008, starting out myself, looking after myself, because me had the mom and dad behind me to push like other, normal people. I had to push on my own and do things for myself, and, went into rent early soon as I turned 18 and them kind of things. So I just had to push my own, agenda, and that's what I did.
And you see, people look at that as they're not looking at the fact
Yeah.
of you being ambitious,
Yeah.
and you recognizing where you want to go, and you take the step,
Yes.
and you're looking for an environment that is conducive for your growth.
Yes.
And that's why I say, people, when I am talking, I talk because I am looking for an environment that would help me to grow. I don't
Yes.
work for government.
Something
I mean,
comfortable.
you look at we are arguing for people to get increase in salary,
of
people to
course.
get double salary.
Double salary.
We are not benefiting from it because we do not work. I don't work for government. Lucky for you.
Yeah.
I mean, people on the STEP program now, they're going to benefit from an increase.
An increase, yes.
They
I
are
mean,
now placed on government payroll.
Yes, I had a conversation with some of the workers just to explain to them, because they meet me and they was asking me as to, how to go about, what would become of their salary, where they will be positioning themselves. And when you break it down for them and you tell them, well, hey, it's an additional XYZ, $100 and something a month, and you want to see the glow on their face. It's like, my father's here, I could pay my internet bill with that. I said, imagine that. And then, you could, whatever you used to pay your internet bill with before, you could either save it or you could do something else more, to make your life more comfortable. Even pay down on a piece of land. Because these are persons who now come into the forefront and asking for opportunities to own land. And then when you help them get the land, they have to find somewhere a means to pay for it. I just tell people, let me tell you something. Yes, they say you got a 2-year window before interest, but pay what you could pay. If it's $50, if it's $100, whatever you could pay, just pay. Once the account move in, you ain't gonna be in a problem. You check. So these is the kind of things we got to do. Encourage persons, and sometimes I just like go back to my time on the labor when hey, this ain't not new to me. I mean, I used to go on political town halls and ask questions, and that's what drive me to Team Unity. As I say, I just tell people my story. I didn't like the answer I was getting, so I also walk up. Well, hey, okay, you ain't working for me no more. Let me go here. I ask some questions. I like what I was told, and from there, I about the Team Unity effort.
Let's talk about what's happening out there, because I've been listening to some of the talk shows, and people are now going out there and start saying certain things. There are people who, after the government was formed and they realized they're not benefiting, they left, and now they realize there's an opportunity, they're back. And, those are the people that I have a problem with. You have people who are not living in St. Kitts, do not understand the politics in St. Kitts or what people are going through in St. Kitts, but yet still they are benefiting on this Uncle Sam.
Yes.
They have dual citizenship, and they want to stay out there and they want to dictate
what should happen here.
The lives of Kiddush. And I've said that, I've always said that. I've said it on my Voices program. I've said it long before 2015, and I'm going to say it still. People have the opportunity when things go, it's bad for them, they can go and feed on other pastures. Yeah. I do not have any other citizenship beside one of Nevis and one of St. Kitts, if that's where it's going to go. Because when Nevis secede, I suppose I would definitely have to apply for citizenship in St. Kitts or maybe Nevis, because they would disown me, I think, because I've been out for too long. But, it is a sad thing. Let's look at where we are right now. Right now, Dr. Harris is under the gun. And I've listened to how people would have ostracized. I mean, he has been demonized. He's been called all of these dirty names. He's been associated with. And like Dr. Douglas was in a similar situation. I think like Dr. Simmons was in a similar situation. And you see, it's a history that a trend that Kittitians have, that when they want you out of power, they would demonize you. Yes. Propaganda would be on the front. But the difference is that people can say what they want. The facts are there.
The facts are there. Yes.
And that is, poor people are now benefiting. And that is, I think that's it. All of them, I mean, like I said, go back again in time, you hear the people who are crying out now, and then you ask yourself the question, is it the leadership is the problem, or is it people who can't seem to get their way?
People can't seem to get their own way. People who want to stay from the outside and control, the machinery. And I mean, that can't be right. I mean, everybody got a role. If you want to be a private citizen, investing in private businesses and companies, fine. So then why you should want to determine, what happened for ordinary folks?
Yeah, and that is the problem. That's what I'm looking at right now. I've seen people who would have made it, and you know what I don't like, and what I'm seeing. I don't know whether or not they're candidates, but what I like about the people who are going around who are putting themselves up is that they are ordinary
Ordinary,
people. They have
ordinary.
become
Yes,
successful
no jacket and
because
tie.
because
Yes,
they understood the
yes.
hardship and how it is to work hard
And some of
to
them
achieve.
come up hard themselves.
And trust me,
Come up hard.
and people.
They made the mistakes. They learn from the mistakes and they reform themselves and asking now, hey, I'm ready to serve.
And this is what, and these are the people that I want: the
Yeah,
doctors and the lawyers and the people who has all those names and numbers behind
yeah,
their names.
yeah.
Those are the people I have a problem with.
Yes, they don't work out for us.
No, they don't understand us.
They don't
They
understand
don't
us.
understand
Yes,
policies that would work for us,
yes.
because these are people who didn't grow up in the system.
Right.
These are people who were sheltered and who understand what it is to always have money. So those are the people that I want to see us moving away from.
Yeah.
People going and they say, okay, you see people who go on and they study law, they study medicine, and they come back. And all of a sudden you want to get back into politics.
And why we feel like only they want qualified to be a politician.
Exactly.
What happened to the youngster
Successful
who does,
businessman.
Yeah, start up his own car wash and now he got a whole, enterprise. What happened to him? Why he can't be a politician? He understand business for sure.
Definitely.
And he understand what it is to start from the bottom, come up. So why we can't look at him?
And that's one of the reasons. When I used to listen to Dr. Douglas speak, I was very much, and I grew up in a Palm family, but I used to listen. Yeah, my mother was a big Palm.
Lucky you.
Never had an understanding of why she voted, and so you automatically start doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then when I listened to Dr. Douglas, because then I was young under the Limor and the Southwell and the Bratcher thing, but then Dr. Douglas was one that caught my attention. When I listened to his story about could not get a loan to go, he was a poor man, he couldn't get a loan to go west. So he went and he came back vibrant. He spoke about Labour's policy, because I never understood what Labour's policy is about, helping poor people to grow. But then, and that was one of the things. And he got me starting to listen to Labour's policies, because I didn't know Pam had a policy. People say Pam has a policy for the rich and Labour has a policy for the poor.
Yeah.
And so it got you to start looking, and seeing, because these are things that's part of the narrative.
Yeah.
And then,
and you realize that they don't, that stigma still haven't left them. Oh, they're about the rich. Pam is about the rich. I mean, no offense, but I mean that stigma still there. People still saying it, and you hearing it now more than ever. Now you realize that you got a tug of war for the leadership of the country.
Yeah.
You're hearing it that they just want it for their friends and members and friends. I'll be like, I mean, imagine that this is the motto. They always start the campaign and the members and friends, and now people using it to say, well, it's just about members and friends, because I guess maybe the person ain't a member, they might be a supporter, but they're a member and they're a friend, and then
and it's amazing you say that. You hear people say things,
people saying these
but
things,
you're never able to.
Yes.
You're never able to put it together. And now you have a good understanding of saying, well, now I know, because I wasn't a member and definitely not a friend. So I suppose that was not going to benefit me in the long run. And so, like I said, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
And it got me almost gravitating to what Labour and Labour's policies was about. But then later on, because I'm very analytical, you start to see things, the erosion and things started to go.
Deteriorate.
Deteriorate, and then you realize that you're moving away from your
policies, and you're more about I mean, one thing for me, and that year it pissed me off big time, and it's like when we got these so-called investors coming into the country, and we putting up money. We putting up money for them to invest in our country. I mean, how that could be possible?
And our locals can't even get the opportunity.
And now you got a Prime Minister here in Dr. Harris who's saying, well, hey, go to the bank and start up a small business. I'm making it possible for you. Give them a 3% interest. Give them a 5% interest loan, and make it easier for ordinary folks to start up their own business, and maybe hire somebody who they're sitting with on the corner at the road. Hire them and be in business with them. And sometimes they even become business partners after a while. And you see people fighting against something like that. But they might gain somebody from overseas 150 million, 200 million, 50 million.
And government stands up for that.
And government stand up for
Secures that loan.
Secures that loan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing, you know, we hear with some hotel where was supposed to come, some Ritz-Carlton or something, and want the government to put up some hundreds of millions of dollars. And I mean, well, we just fight for these kind of things against the Douglas administration. And I know Timothy Harris, he ain't gonna let nobody in the administration put him through them kind of things. Them kind of things ain't right. And then we can't go back to that. We just said that no, that wasn't right. Focus on the people, organize the people first. You can't go back to that.
And then this, I'm glad you made this statement. So then you can fairly say that people are saying that Dr. Harris is corrupt. Is it that he is corrupt or he is against corruption? Because that is one of the big problems that you see. People was willing to go along with him because of the policies that he had and what he stood for. Because even that you're saying that he was corrupt in labor, yet still you had a group of people who was walking along with him. He was strong enough to be a part of the unity concept after everybody was saying was because of corruption why Dr. Douglas got rid of him. Then, and now the same people who embraced him and who tried to link him with Pam are the same people now, because he's not going to do, he's doing the same thing that he did against in the labor movement. He is totally against corruption.
Yes.
I am not going to be corrupted with you.
Yes.
You want to be able to get certain things, and I'm not going to allow it. And all of a sudden now he's one of the worst.
He's one of the worst
persons that just walk the face of the earth. But you know, one of the good things about it though, Weeks, and I don't know what people are going to say about me. I mean, I know what this is, but I don't care. One of the good things about it though is that every time you ask the question, so what did he do? Oh, he went against Labour's policy. What is Labour's policy? But who's benefiting now? Poor people.
Yes, exactly, poor people. And I mean, sometimes even Labour themselves forget that they were the ones who fired Dr. Harris. Sometimes they feel like Dr. Harris left. They say, no, I just have to remind him, no, he was fired.
Yeah, because of the fact that he stood up.
He didn't like certain things. He talked about it. And it's just like me. I mean, you like certain things, what was going on at the time. And you left. You quit the job. And you left.
Okay, we have situations where Dr. Harris decides that he wants accountability.
Yes.
We didn't have any. Electoral reform was one that was big on the agenda of team unity.
Yes.
Mandate or a manifesto that was for the people. It was electoral reform. We're not seeing that. Why? Integrity in public life. They're the ones who has to show what they have and prove. Nobody fought for that. And remember, Dr. Harris is only one. Now we have two votes. But he had one before. He was way in the minority. And so you're going to tell me, you have a majority of people sitting in cabinet, and nobody can raise it. And even if they raise it, Dr. Harris would say, no, he's not ready for it yet. And you're going to sit, if it's something that you really want.
But not only raise it, but they got the right as a minister to table it, you know.
Well, this is the whole thing. And then you wonder, but they're giving the impression that we are given that, I mean, only the prime minister can do certain things.
No.
You have a prime minister, a chain is as strong as its weakest link. A king has no power unless he has people that are following him. So if you don't have no followers, you can't be a king. And so that is one of the things. So he is simply one person. You have all of these ministers that are each one have their portfolios and they have the areas that they have to work. What I'm not seeing them fighting for portfolios that would help the people. You're seeing them fighting for portfolios that would help them. Because you want Ministry of Finance. Why? How is Ministry of Finance? What are you going to do with it? Nobody is saying of anything that, like, for example, he's misuse or abusing the ministry and saying why and how. But you just want the Ministry of Finance. You want to be Prime Minister. Why? Why can't you just serve? What is so great about being the Prime Minister of a country? You went in because you wanted to help poor people. You have a constituents who voted for you. These are people that you have so much to do, because these people have been there. A lot of them have been there in the wilderness for a very long time. And so you have a lot to do.
20 years.
You don't have time. I wouldn't want to be Prime Minister, honestly. If I promise you that this is what I want to make sure that these people are looked after. They gave me a chance.
And if you put me in a position where when I reach out to you and I say, well, hey, I got this project that I need to get off the ground, and you're saying, okay, here, see the money. I mean, what the problem is, that's all you want. I mean, they give you more time to focus on your constituency, your people.
You have the power to say how much you want.
Yeah.
That is your budget. When you have budget, you have the power to say how much you want.
Yes.
You do that. You debate it every time.
Yeah.
You had no problem with that, but all of a sudden now, there is a problem.
Yeah.
So that you make people want to think, why is this fight for?
Right.
Why is it so good to be the PM?
And how this could be fair though, for persons who were, as you say, in the wilderness with you for 20 years. Now they're in a position, or now you're in a position where you could help them to achieve what they wanted to achieve. Maybe some was waiting on the piece of land, some was waiting on the house. How now you're in a position to do all of that before you push these things. We're in a power struggle now for
you.
Prime Minister.
And this is the part that really upsets me. I ask myself the question. I've been trying to make sense of the whole thing, and I'm asking, why is the contention about power and money? Ministry of Finance, Prime Minister. That's not why you say you want to be a servant. The Prime Minister is the Prime Minister because you chose him according to why? Because you felt like he was in a better position. He has more experience than to lead.
Yes.
You didn't have enough experience then.
Right.
And that is one of the reasons why you gave him that position as Prime Minister, because you felt, and not only that, you felt that it was a demand, a desire for the people, because of his experience, because of his style of going out and mixing and mingling with the ordinary people. You wanted him to help you to build that momentum.
And don't forget, one of the methods too was polling. And the polling were favorable at that time for Dr. Harris. And the polling still is favorable for Dr. Harris because, I mean, people understand people don't want to Lego something that is working
it's
for them.
It's working for them.
He's working for the poor people, eh? He's working for the poor people.
But this is what I don't understand. It comes back again to that. When you make certain statements, it open up your eyes to this. The poor people are benefiting.
Yes.
You went in to help poor people. Poor people are now benefiting. What else can you do? Yeah. What you're doing right now is taking away from them, because we are putting them back in a situation that you felt wasn't working for them.
Right.
And now you want to push them back in the same situation when you were supposed to help them together. Okay, you brought them out. You gave them a taste, like giving a child a taste of sugar. Yeah. You gave them a taste of what it is to be like the ordinary man, or be in line with people, the hierarchy. And all of a sudden now, you want to take it back. The Prime Minister said, no, this is a debate that they have. Who gave the increase in salary? Who was responsible for giving the increase in salary?
I would assume the government. The Prime Minister said, my government.
Government.
When he made his speech, he said, my government.
But he said 10%.
He said 10%.
And Pam is saying we could give you 15%.
Yeah, but you realize, so he's like, I mean, and then when you say that thanks to Dr. Harris, we gained a 10% increase, so persons would say,
but it's the government.
It's the government, but no, in a letter now you're seeing your own leadership and party saying, no, we'll give you 15%. So, I mean...
You were in the majority, so how come you allow the minority to give 10 when you could have given 15?
When you know you wanted to give 15? Stop fooling people.
And I was about to use that word, and I am tired of it. Yeah, I am tired of politicians fooling people. All of a sudden, you realize that team unity is PAM, CCM, and PLP.
Yeah.
You were not seeing and I'm going to say, because people are saying it, and this is for you, PAM, to realize that until you start looking after your own and helping the people, you're going to have the same problems. You don't wait until an election time and you see that all of a sudden they're mobilized. You're seeing them in the news. You're hearing all of the things that they were supposed to do.
Yeah, but the news, seeing them and hearing them in the news ain't being mobilized. Because, I mean, you know, if the Dungeon down the road saying, well, I don't see them, it makes no sense.
And it's for all politicians. So I see, and nobody can say otherwise. You see the Prime Minister down at the market. Mm-hmm. He's in the highways and the byways and always have a troop of people behind him, ordinary people.
Yeah.
You can access the Prime Minister. You ask somebody, what is the Prime Minister number? And they can give you I was shocked. They give you
Yes,
anybody
they
can
give
give you the Prime Minister's
for sure.
number.
Yeah.
And when you call the number, he would answer. If he doesn't answer right now, a girl told me this. He said, if he doesn't, I said, you call the Prime Minister? She said, yeah. And when I call him, if he doesn't answer, he calls me back.
Right. I send him a message and I tell him who I be. And then
he answers me back.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And this is what people wanted.
Yes.
And when you talk about it, they're going to tell me, oh, Sandra, because you get a piece of land from the Prime Minister. With Dr. Harris, I want to take the opportunity now to thank you for the piece of land that you didn't give me.
Oh.
But you're getting basically, he's getting the...
Well, me yet, so I hoping to get a piece.
Let me tell you something, and I don't want to call names because I don't want her to sue me. But I applied. My son was the one who pushed me and decided to apply, and I was so proud because I've been applying for so long. Nobody ever answered me, and I applied, and not me, my children applied, my son applied. And he got you. And I was like, what? Well, I'm going to try the same thing. The land that they're saying that the Prime Minister gave me, it's not my land. It's my son's land.
Yeah.
You understand? But people feel like that every time they see you have something, they think that
and
is
something good to keep them in that
and I like it. I'm sorry that I say it on the radio, and I want him to say it still. But then, so am I not a citizen of St. Kitts?
Yes, you are.
The strangest thing is the land where I am, when I ask who owns the other side, they tell me Chinese. And when I ask who owns, and they're going to tell you all the foreigners are coming in here, and they get it. When you look at the biggest houses are built, who they built by, and listen, I'm not saying this in a negative way. So those of you who are not referred to as foreigners, you have a right, because we have people who go to the States and they have benefits. But I am saying, and I'm saying that just like they have the opportunity and the privilege to get, I think our locals have the same opportunity, should have the same opportunity and privilege. And that is one of the reasons why they have the problem with the Prime Minister, because he's making poor, ordinary people to become part of the middle class.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question though. What do you think about the Governor General's response?
But the Governor General responds based on, and people don't understand it, based on what the Constitution says. The Governor General cannot just write a response. It is based on the Constitution.
Right.
And so if he says that in the Constitution it is not, people said, I hear people talking and bringing down, and that's what politics play. And it upsets me when ministers of government can talk about better, could even bring down the Governor General and make him look like an ordinary man. The man took some time to go and search and see whether or not, because if he had come back and said this one time,
and then you go review it and you realize, well, look at class deal.
Yeah.
Then you'll be...
He took his time and he came back and said, he doesn't have the power to do so.
Exactly.
So then, but let me ask you a question, though, because you're asking me a question.
Yeah.
Why are they not why didn't they go the route of the motion of no confidence? Why do you think the Governor General is just going to hand you a government?
Oh, you mean why they do that first?
Yeah.
Instead of, well,
they
had it backwards, really.
Yeah, but they're lawyers and they understand what is supposed to be done.
Yeah.
You have a problem. Why are you keeping people, ordinary man, in a situation like this where you say you have a government that is dysfunctional?
Another thing again, it's just fooling us. Because ordinary folks know that the Governor General does not have the authority within the Constitution to do something like that.
But that happened in 2013.
Exactly. We fought in 2013 for about
that happened
2
in
years.
1993. Yes. We had a similar situation.
Exactly.
So it's history.
So we know people don't understand, people don't learn, people don't research. We know. So how are you going to come and try to fool us with those kind of little boy tactics?
This is what they should have been doing when they were in their electoral reform and constitutional reform. These are the things that was promised. Because what is going to happen now, we are going to change the players, but the game remains the same. And do not listen to those who go out and say, oh, when I go in, I'm going to do better. Or I'm going to change it. They look, why are you not fighting the integrity in public life? Because, I got to buy up my things quick, see? Because at the end of the day, by December time, they're going to introduce integrity in public life, and I'm going to get caught. So let me do what I have to do now. And that's why you have such early corruption when people go into government. And, one of the things that I want to see the Prime Minister do, I want him to start to become, everybody has to be accountable. You people would have gone over their budget, and you see things that are happening.
Why.
Come and tell me.
How you spend it, why you spend it on.
Tell me how you spend it.
And not only that, because if you go over budget, only so you could go over budget is by, and have money to spend is by you asking, requesting money and getting the money. So before you reach that stage where you want to know why you over budget and where you do with the money, tell me before. I give you the money for you to spend it.
Yeah, but you're supposed to present.
Right.
You're supposed to present a statement,
Yes.
or your accounts, and show. Look, this is what I would have done. You have all of your departments have permanent secretaries. You have an area where
Yes.
in all of the different portfolios you have people who control
And the
these things.
permanent secretary I employer there who deal with finances, spend the
Exactly.
money, balance the books.
So in
You could say
every
if you want to
department
call
you
them
have a
accountant,
financial
you call them
department.
accountant.
They have a financial department,
Yes.
and they're supposed to show how. And so, what if I was the prime minister? What I would have had them done at this time before we go out, because the people wants to know. It's what have you done? Because we have heard people are speculating, and I'm tired of
A lot of
speculation and
yeah.
assumptions.
Yeah,
I
and
want
bring the
to know
facts
bring the
because
facts.
it's public. It's a public
It's
purse.
our purse. Yeah.
We have the right to know.
Because at the end of the day, when they can't do it, we have to be taxed.
Of course.
So the public wants to know,
Of
if
course.
you are managing the money is the way you're supposed to be managing the money, then we should not be taxed. And we're supposed to be able to sit outside and say, government should be taxing us because money is inside there. So let us now know what all of these different portfolios that you would have had, all the different departments that you would have operated in, let us start to be accountable for it. You said you were going to do it. Accountability, transparency, that was part of your modus operandi. How come we're not seeing any of that now? We didn't see an electoral
Good
reform.
question.
We didn't see. So then although we have not done it in Parliament, let's show that even that is not passed, even though we do an electoral reform, let us show you that this is a practice that we do, where we make presentations of our finances or financial statements, and making sure that the monies that were given to us, we have an area to show. We are accountable for where these monies go, and we would want to see that. Because I see too many things happening too fast. There are people who go in government brokes, and after a term they're rich.
Rich.
When you look at their salaries, you want to know, well, your money that grow. Well, what happened to mine? And I working so hard for such a long time. And so this is what we want to see. And then people can stop going around speculating and assuming. Because I don't like it though, because you defame people's character when you make certain statements. Last time you were here, we were talking about the situation with the hospital, because these are the things, these are areas, these are the things that are out there and people are talking about. I myself, I spoke to the minister and I asked her, the people who have been complaining about the face basins and everything. And she said to me, and I do understand, which is a fact, because I would have done that the same thing to bring in the cleaners and they would have cleaned up the stuff. But then what happens later on is because you've taken off the protective layer and that's what the cleaning does. It gets rid of that protective layer. And so the hard water starts showing up even more.
Easier.
Yeah, it's easier because you don't have that protective layer. So she said it's something that they would have looked at, and they're in the process right now.
They're in the process right now,
of changing
this stuff.
Certain things,
and I mean, even the morals of the staff, where she planned to get them undergo some kind of training with I think is Miss Roberts, her name is, to come in and do some workshops as to build them out, show them that the importance of working and the service they provide and how important this is, and the fact that they need to be at their best. So these kind of things is important.
And one has to understand, because in all fairness to the minister, Akila is only in there for 2 years.
2 years. We're not even 2 years yet.
Not even 2 years.
But we're on the eve of that.
We're looking at the fact that, I think people are looking that Team Unity has been in.
Yeah.
And they think that she has been in for the whole term.
And no, she has not.
Yeah.
And not only that too, I mean, she's still now in the process of her now to go back to persons to say, well, hey, yes, I know you tell me 5 years, but I hear what you do again, asking you for your support, and then kind of things in less than 2 years.
And then
that person might say, well, yeah, but then I did ask you about, a job. Any word on that yet? I mean, what are you going to do?
I know. It's tough for her.
It's tough.
And I'm saying this because she's a woman, one.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that I like what she does. I like who she has been. She has to go in. Akila has to go in and she has to learn what is to be.
She has to learn. So you'll take some time for you to learn.
She had to learn. She has to understand and she has to be able to juggle.
Yes.
And in all fairness, she was not given enough time to show. But people are still comfortable because she's the kind of person you can talk to easily.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
and she had other ministries that she was over, and I've seen her in her elements where that are constant people who have talent. She could come. You're bringing the young people together. So those are things. Health is a very ticklish department that you have to deal with. It's not a one-man thing. I think it's the whole party, everybody, it doesn't matter what portfolio you carry. It's a team thing because it is really a broad. There's a lot of things that happen that she has to. She and again, she's new.
She's new. Yeah.
She's very new, and she has. I mean, she has a
still
permanent secretary.
Still in the learning stage.
Yes,
yeah.
she has a permanent secretary, and if they mess up, then she would not be. Then she'll be
right.
ousted out.
Yeah.
And so these are the things that you have to take into consideration. That I'm laughing because I listened to Conrad's song that you made up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but I mean, let me tell you something. I mean, sometimes people would say things, but they're really talking about themselves. Trust me, and I feel like in the moment he was talking about himself, because I could tell you for a fact, that would never be her, and I would never allow her to do that.
I know.
I would never allow her to drop the ball. I would never allow her to not be present. You understand? That's with strength. So we always, go to our strength.
And you see why? And I always tell people that if I was a politician, if I was to run in any constituency, when it's time for election, I will go home to sleep because I know I definitely will be reelected.
Yes.
It's not about the things that you do in your portfolios. It's not. That doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's what you would have done for your people. Your portfolio is important. That's why I said it's so difficult, because you have to make sure that you perform in the areas that you were placed. But at the end of the day, you still have to make sure that your constituents are happy.
Yes.
And that is one of the reasons why Dr. Harris can go home and sleep. Because whatever you want to say is that he makes sure that his constituents are looked after. In the news, he built all of the free homes from Venezuela. He took them.
After nobody wanted none.
Wow. and he took them for who? Not for him. It was for the people.
Yes.
And I find that should not have been a discussion. Because it doesn't matter from which constituent you're from. It doesn't matter who your representative is. You're part of the people.
Yeah.
The people that you say you're going to help. You're part of it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. And so you can say as much as you want. You say, you criticize Hamilton because he's not looking after his people. At the same time, you're going to criticize Dr. Harris because he's looking after his people.
Yeah.
So damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's really the sad thing.
Makes no sense.
So we are 7 minutes away from leaving. So let's talk about
7 minutes is a lot of time.
Yeah, let's talk about.
But what I would like though, for us to discuss. So we have a pending motion of no confidence. So you personally, your opinion, how you feel like, how you think that would go?
You're bringing a motion of no confidence, a to a constitution against yourself.
So you're basically saying that the ministers, the 6 ministers who signed the bill, basically telling the general public that, hey, I don't have no confidence in myself,
so then you
but in the next 3 months, I'm going to come back to you to ask you to vote for me.
But let's look at it from a different angle.
Let me hear this different angle.
You have one person, and that's why I always have a serious problem. I can find the opposition bringing a motion of no confidence against the government.
Which they did back in
2013.
No, 2020, when we had one, when Douglas Table won.
That was 2013.
No.
Wait,
Douglas did a motion on no confidence.
Yeah. And so now you are part of a government.
Yeah.
That a part of a government. Listen, because when the government gives the increase, you say it is you.
Yes.
When anything happens good, you say
You
you're
say
part
you.
of it.
Yes.
So if the government would have failed the people, then you are part of the government. So you have to take responsibility.
So the leadership can be failing the people,
it's-
and you saying that no, not me, meaning it just
when you
the
have
leader.
a cabinet, whatever happens, and that's what cabinet is all about.
Yeah.
Discussions. Anything that the leadership wants to do has to be discussed
Of
in
course.
cabinet. So then you show that you're part of the government. So any decision,
Remember something show up in 4 months now, so I mean it'll be hard for them to understand, to know. Maybe
Well, then he has a right to say-
maybe during the 4 months the 10% was discussed, and that's why you see now they're saying 15 because
they were not there to sign off on it.
To say.
But nobody, again, you remember you have to have a quorum in order for you to have cabinet.
Well, a quorum is there.
Okay, well, so the government is not dysfunctional
after
when you
all.
can find a quorum to
Yes.
have discussions. And so when I put you in Parliament, I remember when in history we used to talk. There was an era when they had I can't remember offhand where there's no taxation without representation was one of the things, and you see, and I used to read it, never had an understanding of it. Then you start to apply it to see where you, the people, when I ask you to represent me, because there are things that you have to change and I can't do because I'm not in there,
Right.
you have to be in there to do it for me.
Yes,
So when you
yes.
take the option of not going in there, then you're not representing me.
representing
I
me.
have no
Yes.
representation in cabinet.
Yes.
So I have no say.
No say.
Things that affect me, I
Right.
can't come in and say,
And if it
but
happen, you
you
can't
were
make no
supposed to be
noise.
you're not there.
Right, and if it happen, you can who you could make noise with. I got to make noise with you because you put you there
That's
to
why
represent me.
and I don't think
Right.
ministers understand that their constituents, when they choose you,
Yeah.
they chose you as a representative because they think that you can do that for us.
Yes.
But when you're not there representing, then why would I vote for you again if you come back?
Exactly.
When I needed you most, you would have absented yourself from there
Exactly.
because you don't care about me.
Right.
You care about the fact that I want to be prime minister. Not that I don't want you. And I voted for you. I didn't vote for you as a prime
Right.
minister. I voted for you so that you can
to
represent me.
And that's the same thing what happened, what I used to say back then when it comes to my constituency. I mean, they elect a guy, give him a 5-year mandate, and he goes to parliament, and all you hear him rant about is, Harris I get.
Yeah.
He family I get. Never once you pick up the mic and say, number 3 want this, number 3 want that.
Perfect
And now
point.
you're coming around again asking people to give you a chance. Or where he basically said that he gave Akila a chance. I don't know who does give a position like that.
No, he was tired.
Yeah, he gave her a chance, but he wanted it back.
Because
I
she
mean,
failed.
I mean, this is that.
She got 5 years, she got 2, and
Yeah.
then she.
And imagine that he got 5 years and in lobby for nothing. She got 2, and a whole project happening up Lagweed
People
up
get
there
their lands
where
of free
people
will
getting the land sorted out and infrastructure going in Lagweed right now. So persons could now get the title for the land and go to the bank and build up a big house if they want to, sell if they want to, or just got something to pass on to the generations to come.
And you want to take that from poor people?
And you're trying to say you couldn't lobby for that on we behalf. And Lagweed is a hero up there since I before I born.
But let me tell you something, Weeks, and on a serious note, I don't understand what all of this noise is all about. Mm-hmm. If you say that you have policies in place where the ordinary person now is benefiting, and those are your policies, why would you not want to change it because you are not benefiting?
Right.
It's about the people. It's not about
always,
you.
It should be always about the people.
I said, let's look at the situation right now. According to them, it was the Charleston Accord is one of the issues. You're not keeping the promise. What was the promise? That the Prime Minister was going to get 2 terms, and you were going to share the CBI money on a pro rata basis. Okay? The Prime Minister's 2 terms is not up yet, but yet you're ousting him out. In 2020, you set up to get rid of him. I mean, I can say that because that was said that in 2020, I wasn't in agreement. The Premier said I was in agreement for you. So it wasn't, it didn't matter whether or not it was a condition with the Charleston Accord. Right. But now the Charleston Accord is what you're going against. So one time, the Charleston Accord, you should keep the promise.
Keep the promise
the next time, there's no promise to uphold
because in the Accord, basically you pledge allegiance to the people.
Exactly.
But now you're going against the people as well. And I mean, this sharing of the CBI revenue, I mean, let me go back to the Constitution and Parliament and fix that.
And fix it.
You can't just decide that you're going to do what you want with my money. Because remember, I got right to the money,
Yeah, but not only that.
The leaders ain't got the right to the money, is we ordinary citizens got a right to the money.
But then, hear this though. So when you are out of government, what happened to Nevis people?
Right.
Because you didn't pass it there's no legislation.
Suppose somebody is coming after you.
So what happened to Nevis people then? So this is what I'm saying. So it was not in an interest of the people of Nevis.
Yes,
it was an interest for me to get into power.
Right.
And I say it and I'm going to say it
again. And get money while I'm in power to do what I want.
Exactly.
Because we still ain't no going on with all the money we spend.
If it was in the interest of the Nevis people, then what would have happened is that you would have had that legislated.
Yes.
You'd have taken it to Parliament. Yes. And on a pro rata basis.
And then it would have been there. And then nobody could have.
Doesn't matter who go in.
If you see, and some people like this, sometimes the people only want when things up. If the CBI revenue come in and it's 10 million, oh yes, I'm going to make a lot of money because it's 10 million. And I feel like maybe that's where you see that they didn't really want to go to Parliament to do nothing. They just wanted a fixed figure. And then they work out well because, hey, suppose this month we only make 1 million.
So then I can't
give me a fix. So give me a fix. And now you get a fix, you
All of a
move in the
sudden you want
goalpost
more.
all the
Yeah,
time.
all the time.
You want more all the time.
You
Or you
see.
bring another 2 ministers to the one seat to the construct, or you want more money.
And you see, that is one of the big
Fix the
problems.
thing, do the
This
thing
is
the
one
right
of the
way.
reasons why I don't want to have them kind of talk show where people just rah, 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 rah. We want information, we want
Yes.
facts. We don't want to go around and accusing people without proper information. We don't want people to go based on assumption because that poses a lot of problems. And so we want people to start to talk about facts. And one of the questions I'm going to ask is, stop saying that Dr. Harris is a greedy demon man, demonizing the man. Say why. What did he do? Why you're saying things like that? You understand? Is he guilty of, and they talk about this speech that he had, if I perish, let me perish. Is he guilty of helping poor people?
Right.
So that is one of the problems that he have, because he decided he doesn't want to be, he's allergic to corruption, he don't want to be a part of corruption. That is one of the issues. They have had all the different scandals that have been out there, but none of them came to fruition. They have had all of the people accusing, all the accusations. What am I? All of the accusations,
Yeah.
but nobody can prove him.
Nobody
No, there's
can, yeah.
not proof. His family, they're people, they're citizens of things.
Citizens.
They're qualified.
And who was
So-
implied even before.
before that. And so, no, even then, so even you're qualified. So you're going to tell me that they should not work because their brother is the government, is in government. These are the things, these are the problems that I definitely have. And we are always running out of time.
Yeah.
It's so much to talk about.
So much to talk about.
Next week,
But yeah,
we are going to continue.
We're going to have the touch.
Yeah, definitely. So for those of you mothers out there, remember, it's your day. It's coming up on Sunday, but this is your weekend, so you can do whatever you want to do for this weekend. Don't cook, don't wash, don't clean. Don't look after the children. It's the father's responsibility. If it's not the fathers are not there, then it's the
kids.
big sister or the
Yes.
bigger brother's responsibility. But it's time for mother to let her hair down, put on her nice clothes, and go wherever mommy wants to go. And do that because it is your day. Again, we see that the figures are going up, the numbers are going up for COVID. I know that you like to party weeks. Make sure you wear your mask, you hand sanitize, and you social distance. You speak very loud so you could talk from a person 6 feet apart. Because let me tell you something. I said as somebody who was telling me of some symptoms that they have, it's not a good feeling. So we have to be very careful. We have to keep COVID a bit, because again, they're going to use that and say, oh, they're using COVID now as an, oh my God.
And even them who benefit from the COVID and the lockdown still make nice.
I'm telling you.
Let me know when we get into that.
I'm telling you.
It's
We're
crazy.
going to talk about that again next on the next discussion. But COVID is a reality.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all are not being in tune with what is happening in the UK, in Europe, in China. It's on its way down. In America, it's on its way down. And we know normally our borders are open. People are coming in. We have tourists coming in, and we expect one of these days it's going to affect us. I'm seriously out of time, I have to say. My time has come, and I definitely have to run. My name is Sandra Quilliatet. It was a pleasure being here with you. Stay tuned to Win FM 98.9. Voices is up next.
When them say it's mad,